My daughter left her twin children with me just for the weekend and vanished for 12 years. When she discovered her late husband's life insurance policy had matured to $400,000, she returned with lawyers, accusing me of elder abuse and manipulation. But when I handed the judge a USB drive, her face went white. The judge asked, "Did she know you recorded everything?" I smiled. "She's about to find out." Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and let us know where you're listening from in the comments. The doorbell rang at 6 in the morning on a Thursday. In my 32 years as a Denver police detective, I learned that nothing good ever comes from a doorbell before sunrise. I grabbed my robe and headed downstairs, my bad knee protesting every step. Through the peephole, I saw a woman I barely recognized. Designer sunglasses, expensive coat, blonde highlights that probably cost more than my monthly grocery bill. Behind her stood a man in a suit that screamed lawyer, and another man I didn't know, tall, with slicked back hair. I opened the door. "Dad." My daughter Rachel's voice was honey sweet, the way it always got when she wanted something. "It's been too long. 12 years. 12 years of silence." And she shows up talking about too long like she'd missed a few Sunday dinners. "Mr. Patterson." The lawyer stepped forward. "All business. I'm Gregory Marsh, from Marsh and Associates. We need to discuss the custody arrangement of Emma and Lucas Patterson, as well as certain financial matters regarding their late father's estate." I heard footsteps on the stairs behind me. The twins, 16 now, appeared in the hallway. Emma had her mother's eyes, but none of her coldness. Lucas had his father Michael's stubborn jaw. "Grandpa?" Emma's voice was cautious. "Who are these people?" Rachel let out a theatrical gasp. "Emma, oh my God, look at you. You're so beautiful. And Lucas, you've gotten so tall." She moved toward them like she had every right in the world. Lucas stepped back, putting himself between Rachel and his sister. "Who are you?" The question hung in the air like a gunshot. Rachel's smile faltered. The man with the slicked hair, her husband I assumed, shifted uncomfortably. "I'm your mother, sweetheart. Don't you remember me?" Emma shook her head slowly. "We know what our mother looks like. Grandpa showed us pictures, but we don't know you. 32 years of police work taught me to read people." Right now, Rachel's eyes were calculating, not hurt. She was already adjusting her strategy. "Mr. Patterson," the lawyer continued, "we have reason to believe the custody transfer that occurred in 2013 was obtained under duress. My client was suffering from severe depression following her husband's death and was not in a mental state to make such decisions. We're prepared to file for custody, restoration, and a full audit of the children's trust fund." I leaned against the doorframe, keeping my voice calm. "Is that so?" "Well, Mr. Marsh, I have every document from that process. Psychological evaluations, notarized statements, court filings. Would you like to come in and review them?" Something flickered across Rachel's face. Fear, maybe, or the realization that this wasn't going to be as easy as she'd planned. "That won't be necessary today," Marsh said smoothly. "We'll see you in court, Mr. Patterson. Family court 2 weeks from now. You'll be receiving official documentation." Rachel reached toward Emma one more time. "I'll see you soon, baby. Mommy's back now. Everything's going to be different." Emma didn't move, didn't speak, just watched her mother with those careful, guarded eyes. After they left, Lucas turned to me. "Grandpa, what's happening? Why is she here after all this time?" I put my hand on his shoulder, feeling the weight of every promise I'd made to these kids over 12 years. "She found out about the money, son. The life insurance your father left for you and your sister. It matured last month, so she doesn't actually want us back," Emma said quietly. "She wants the money. Smart girl. Always had been. That's exactly right. But here's what she doesn't know. I looked at both of them. These children I'd raised from 4 years old, through scraped knees and school projects and teenage heartbreaks. I've been preparing for this day since the moment she walked out. Every document, every recording, every piece of evidence. She thinks she can waltz back in and take what your father left you. She's wrong." The memories came flooding back that night, after the twins had gone to bed, December 2012. I was 63 years old, newly widowed, trying to figure out what retirement even meant after 3 decades of chasing criminals. Then Michael died. My son-in-law was a good man, a firefighter. He'd married Rachel despite my warnings, loved her despite her selfishness, gave her 2 beautiful children she never seemed to want. When his truck got hit by a drunk driver on Christmas Eve, Rachel fell apart, or pretended to. Looking back, I think she'd been waiting for an excuse to leave. She showed up at my door 3 months later, March 2013, with 2 4-year-olds and a suitcase. "Dad, I need a break. Just a weekend. I haven't slept in months. I can't do this alone." The twins were exhausted, confused, still asking when Daddy was coming home. Emma was clutching a stuffed rabbit Michael had given her. Lucas hadn't spoken in 2 weeks. "Of course," I said. "Take your time. We'll be fine." That was the last time I saw my daughter for 12 years. The first week, I made excuses to the twins. "Mommy needs rest. Mommy's with the doctors. Mommy will call soon." By the second week, I'd stopped lying to them. By the third week, I'd hired a private investigator. The report came back in April. Rachel had moved to Phoenix with a man named Derek Holloway, real estate developer, recently divorced. Rich. The investigator included screenshots. Rachel's new Instagram account, set to private but not private enough. Photos of her at pool parties, at expensive restaurants, at a spa resort in Scottsdale. Hashtags about new beginnings and finally living my truth. Not a single mention of her children. I sat in my home office, surrounded by 32 years' worth of case files and commendations, and I felt something cold settle into my bones. Not grief, not anger, purpose. I'd spent my career putting criminals away, building cases brick by brick, evidence by evidence, until no defense attorney could tear them apart. Rachel wasn't a criminal in the legal sense, but she was about to learn that abandoning her children had consequences. I called my lawyer the next morning. Thomas Brennan, an old friend from my days on the force. He'd helped more than a few cops through ugly divorces. "Walt, you need to get ahead of this," he told me. "If she comes back in a year, 5 years, 10 years, you want everything locked down. Guardianship isn't enough. You need her to sign away her parental rights entirely. She won't do that. It looks bad. Make it easy for her to say yes. No child support obligations. No financial responsibility. Full custody to you. Present it as doing her a favor." I thought about Rachel's Instagram posts, the pool parties, the spa days, the complete absence of any mention of Emma or Lucas. "She'll sign," I said. I was right. When Thomas sent the letter, Rachel responded within a week. Not with a phone call to ask about her children, not with a request to visit, just a message to Thomas asking when she could sign the papers. June 2013. Rachel flew back to Denver for 1 day. She walked into Thomas's office in designer clothes, fresh manicure, not a trace of grief or guilt on her face. "I need to move on with my life," she told the family court psychologist, who was there to verify she understood what she was doing. "The kids are better off with my father. He's stable. I'm not ready to be a mother." The psychologist, Dr. Karen Webb, asked if she wanted to see her children before signing. Rachel checked her watch. "I have a flight at 4. Let's just get this done." She signed away her parental rights in 11 minutes. Didn't ask a single question about Emma or Lucas. Didn't ask for photos. Didn't ask if they missed her. When she left, Dr. Webb looked at me with something close to disgust. In 20 years of practice, I've never seen anything quite like that. "Make sure it's all documented," I said. "Video, audio, written statements, everything. You think she'll come back? People like Rachel always come back when there's something they want. I just don't know when." Now I knew. 12 years later, when Michael's life insurance policy matured, and suddenly there was $400,000 with her children's names on it. The court date arrived faster than expected. Rachel's lawyer had pushed for an expedited hearing, claiming the children were in danger with me. A laughable accusation, but it moved the timeline up. Judge Patricia Coleman presided. 60 years old, known for being tough but fair. I'd testified in her courtroom a dozen times during my career. She remembered me. "Detective Patterson, she said when I was sworn in. It's been a while. Retired now, Your Honor. Just a grandfather these days. Rachel sat at the plaintiff's table with her lawyer and her husband, Derek. She was dressed conservatively today, playing the grieving mother role, tissue in hand, eyes wet on command. Your Honor, Marsh began, my client was in a deeply fragile mental state following her husband's tragic death in 2012. She was manipulated by her father, a trained police interrogator, into signing away her parental rights. She was told it was temporary, that it was just to help with the children's schooling. She never understood she was permanently giving up her babies. Thomas stood. Your Honor, that's simply not true. We have extensive documentation of the process, including video testimony from a licensed psychologist who verified Mrs. Holloway's understanding and consent. Show me, Judge Coleman said. Thomas pulled out the USB drive. This contains 2 hours of footage from the signing meeting in June 2013. Dr. Karen Webb walked Mrs. Holloway through every document, asked multiple times if she understood, and recorded her responses. We watched the footage on the courtroom screen. There was Rachel, 12 years younger, but the same cold efficiency in her eyes. Doctor, Webb asking her over and over, do you understand this is permanent? Do you understand you're giving up all parental rights? Do you understand you cannot reverse this decision? And Rachel's answers, clear as day. Yes. Yes. I understand. Let's move on. When Rachel checked her watch and said she had a flight to catch, I heard a murmur go through the courtroom. Judge Coleman's expression hardened. Marsh was sweating now. Your Honor, my client was clearly not herself. She was traumatized. She was checking her watch, Mr. Marsh. She was worried about missing her flight to Phoenix. Judge Coleman looked at Rachel. Mrs. Holloway, is there anything you'd like to say? Rachel stood, tears flowing. Your Honor, I was sick. I was grieving. My father took advantage of me. He knew I wasn't thinking straight, and he used his interrogation training to confuse me. I wasn't there, I said calmly. Check the video. I wasn't in the room when she signed. It was her, Thomas Brennan, Dr. Webb, and a notary. I specifically stayed away so no one could claim I influenced her. Judge Coleman nodded slowly. That's what the video shows. Mr. Patterson wasn't present. Mrs. Holloway, you're claiming you were manipulated by someone who wasn't even in the room? Rachel's tears dried up fast. Her jaw tightened. He orchestrated the whole thing. He sent me that letter, making it seem like I had no choice. The letter offered you 2 choices, Thomas said. Return to Denver and be a mother with full support from Mr. Patterson, or voluntarily terminate your rights. You chose option 2. Because he made it impossible to come back. How? Judge Coleman leaned forward. The letter specifically offered housing support, child care assistance, and financial help if you returned. What exactly made it impossible? Rachel's husband, Derek, whispered something to her. She ignored him. I was in a new relationship. Starting over. I couldn't just uproot my life. You mean you couldn't be bothered? I said quietly. Mr. Patterson, Judge Coleman warned, but I could see she understood. The hearing recessed for lunch. Thomas and I ate sandwiches in his car, going over our strategy for the afternoon. They're going to pivot, he said. Marsh knows the psychological manipulation angle is dead. He'll try something else. Financial mismanagement, maybe. Claim you've been stealing from the kids' trust fund. I've got 12 years of audited financial statements. Every penny accounted for. What about character witnesses? Anyone Rachel might try to discredit you with? I thought about it. There's no one. I've lived clean. Raised those kids right. They're honor students. Emma's going to CU Boulder next year, on a scholarship. Lucas wants to be a firefighter like his father. Thomas smiled. Then we're solid. Unless they've got something we don't know about. They did. After lunch, Marsh stood with renewed confidence. Your Honor, we'd like to introduce new evidence. Testimony from Derek Holloway regarding Mr. Patterson's behavior. Derek took the stand. Up close, he looked exactly like the kind of man Rachel would marry. Smooth, calculating, dressed in money he probably didn't earn. Mr. Holloway, can you tell the court about your interactions with Mr. Patterson? Derek nodded gravely. In 2019, My wife and I decided she should reconnect with her children. We drove to Denver to visit, but when we arrived at Mr. Patterson's house, he refused to let us in. He threatened us, said if Rachel ever came near the kids, he would destroy her reputation. He said he had evidence that would ruin her life. Marsh let that sink in. Evidence? What kind of evidence? He didn't specify, but he made it clear he would use it if we didn't stay away. Rachel was terrified. She's been afraid to come back ever since. I almost laughed. The audacity of this man, sitting in a courtroom and lying so smoothly, but I kept my face neutral. 32 years of interrogations had taught me that patience beats anger every time. Mr. Patterson, is this true? Judge Coleman asked. No, Your Honor. Mr. Holloway has never been to my home. He's never called me, never written me, never made any attempt to contact me whatsoever. I'd be happy to provide my security camera footage from 2019. I've recorded every visitor to my property since I retired. Standard practice for an ex-detective. Marsh's face fell. He hadn't expected that. Additionally, I continued, I'd like the court to note that in 2019, Mrs. Holloway posted extensively on social media about her vacation to Hawaii. From December 15th through January 3rd, if she drove to Denver during that time, it would have been quite a detour. Thomas pulled out a folder. Printouts of Mrs. Holloway's social media posts from December 2019, Your Honor. Time-stamped and geotagged. Derek's story crumbled in real time. Rachel was whispering furiously to Marsh. Judge Coleman looked at Derek with open contempt. Mr. Holloway, do you understand that perjury is a crime in the state of Colorado? Derek's smooth facade cracked. I might have been mistaken about the year, or you might have been lying entirely. Step down, Mr. Holloway. I've heard enough. The afternoon session continued with more desperation from Rachel's side. Marsh tried to argue that I'd turned the children against their mother, that I'd poisoned their minds with lies. Your Honor, Thomas said, if the court would permit, Emma and Lucas Patterson would like to make a statement. They're 16 years old enough to express their preferences in custody matters. Judge Coleman nodded. I'll speak with them in my chambers, privately. Emma and Lucas went with the judge, 25 minutes that felt like hours. When they came back, Emma's eyes were red, but her chin was high. Lucas looked like he wanted to punch something. Judge Coleman returned with a face like thunder. Mrs. Holloway, she said, her voice ice cold. Your daughter just told me something very interesting. She said that 3 weeks ago, your husband approached her outside her high school. He asked her how much money she knew about. He asked if she knew how to access the trust fund. When she said she didn't know anything, he gave her a phone number and told her to call when she had information. The courtroom went silent. Lucas witnessed this conversation. He has the phone number, which he wisely kept and showed to his grandfather. Mr. Patterson, did you investigate this number? I did, Your Honor. It's registered to a burner phone purchased at a Phoenix convenience store. Cash transaction. But the same convenience store where Derek Holloway was photographed by traffic cameras 15 minutes before the purchase. Thomas submitted the evidence. Traffic camera photos. The phone purchase receipt with a timestamp. Derek's face, clear as day, walking into that store. Derek stood up suddenly. This is ridiculous. I never. Sit down, Mr. Holloway. Judge Coleman's voice could have cut glass. You approached a minor outside her school to interrogate her about money. That's not custody concern. That's predatory behavior. Rachel was crying again, but these tears were different. These were the tears of someone watching their scheme collapse. This isn't about motherhood, Judge Coleman continued. This is about money. $400,000 in life insurance, plus whatever assets you think you can claim from your children's inheritance. You abandoned them for 12 years. And you only came back when there was profit to be made. That's not true, Rachel sobbed. I love my children. I've always loved them. Then why didn't you call them? I spoke up, unable to stay silent anymore. 12 years, Rachel, 4,380 days. Not one phone call, not one birthday card, not one Christmas present. Emma had surgery when she was 9. Appendicitis. She was in the hospital for 3 days. Did you know that? Lucas broke his arm playing football at 14. Did you know? They graduated middle school, made honor roll every semester. Emma won the state science fair. Lucas volunteers at the fire station every weekend because he wants to be like his father. Did you know any of that? Rachel stared at me, mascara running down her face, and said nothing. I documented everything, I said. Every phone call you didn't make, every birthday you forgot, every school play you missed. Not because I wanted to use it against you, but because I knew someday you'd come back and pretend none of it happened. And I wanted the truth to be there. Undeniable. Permanent. Judge Coleman called for a recess until the next morning. Final arguments and ruling. That night, I found Emma sitting on the back porch, looking at the stars. Grandpa, do you think she ever actually loved us? The question broke my heart. I sat down next to her, my old bones protesting. I think your mother loves herself, Emma. Some people never learn to love anyone else. It's not your fault. It was never your fault. She looked right at me in that courtroom, and I didn't feel anything. I thought I would feel something, sad or angry or something, but I just felt empty. I put my arm around her shoulders. That's okay. You don't owe her your emotions. You don't owe her anything. Lucas appeared in the doorway. Is it going to be over tomorrow? I think so, son. Good. His voice was hard in a way that worried me. I never want to see her again. You might not have to. But Lucas, don't let anger eat you up. Your father wouldn't want that. He was quiet for a moment, then softer. Do you think Dad would be proud of us? Michael would be the proudest father in the world. I know I am. The next morning, Judge Coleman delivered her ruling. In the matter of Holloway versus Patterson, regarding custody of Emma and Lucas Patterson, I find the following. Rachel Holloway voluntarily and legally terminated her parental rights in June 2013. This termination was witnessed, notarized, and certified by a licensed psychologist. No evidence of coercion, manipulation, or mental incapacity has been presented. Furthermore, Mrs. Holloway made no attempt to contact her children for 12 years. Not one phone call, not one letter, not one visit. She reappeared only when a substantial life insurance policy matured in her children's names. Mr. Derek Holloway's testimony has been proven false. His approach to a minor outside her school to question her about financial matters is deeply troubling and will be referred to the appropriate authorities. Walter Patterson has raised these children for 12 years. They are thriving. They are happy. They are loved. Removing them from his care would cause tremendous psychological harm and serve no purpose except to satisfy Mrs. Holloway's financial interests. Therefore, I rule as follows. Walter Patterson's guardianship of Emma and Lucas Patterson remains in full effect. Rachel Holloway's parental rights remain permanently terminated. She is prohibited from contacting the children without their written consent after they turn 18. Additionally, given the frivolous and malicious nature of this lawsuit, I am ordering Rachel and Derek Holloway to pay Mr. Patterson's legal fees in the amount of $22,000. Payment is due within 90 days. Rachel stood up, her face twisted with rage. This is corrupt. He's manipulated everyone. Those are my children. Those are children you abandoned, Judge Coleman said coldly. Children you signed away. Children you only remembered when they became valuable. This court is adjourned. The gavel came down like a thunderclap. I walked out of that courthouse with Emma on one side and Lucas on the other. The sun was bright. The air was cold. Denver in March, unpredictable as always. It's really over? Emma asked. It's really over. In the parking lot, I saw Rachel and Derek arguing. She was crying. He was gesturing angrily. Their expensive lawyer was walking away, probably calculating the bill he'd never collect in full. Rachel looked over at us. For just a moment, our eyes met. 12 years ago, she'd been my daughter. I'd loved her despite her flaws. Hoped she'd grow out of her selfishness. Believed somewhere deep down she had a good heart. I didn't believe that anymore. She'd made her choice. She'd chosen freedom over responsibility, money over children, a new life over the family she'd created. And when that choice had consequences, she'd tried to lie and manipulate her way out of them. But I'd spent 32 years learning that the truth always wins if you document it carefully enough. Every lie has a paper trail. Every deception leaves evidence. Every scheme has a flaw. Rachel's flaw was underestimating a retired detective with nothing but time and 2 grandchildren to protect. We drove home that evening. Emma picked the music, some pop song I didn't recognize. Lucas argued that it was his turn to choose. I let them bicker, savoring the normalcy of it. These were the moments Rachel had thrown away. 12 years of car rides and arguments over music and help with homework and late-night talks about the future. She'd traded all of it for pool parties and Instagram posts, and a man who would lie in court for her. I'd gotten the better deal. At home, we ordered Chinese food and watched a movie. Just another Thursday night. Just another normal evening in a house full of love and stability and the kind of boring, everyday magic that comes from showing up day after day, year after year. That was my revenge, really. Not the courtroom victory, though that was satisfying. Not the legal fees Rachel couldn't afford. Not even the look on her face when her lies fell apart. My revenge was simpler than that. My revenge was Emma calling me Dad sometimes, when she forgot to say Grandpa. My revenge was Lucas asking me for advice about girls, about college, about life. My revenge was 12 years of memories that Rachel would never have. Science fair trophies, graduation ceremonies, first dates and broken hearts, and all the messy, beautiful chaos of raising 2 human beings from children into adults. Rachel had signed all of that away for a flight to Phoenix and a man with a nice car. She thought she was gaining freedom. What she actually lost was everything that mattered. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. To hear the next story, click on the box on the left. Thank you for watching.